Good day and welcome to Poor Sucker Syndrome Counseling Sessions. I am Mitch Vandell, therapist to men who are suffering or recovering from financially abusive relationships. When my patient George first started coming to me many years ago now, he had to learn the hard way about sexual harassment. He was straight out of college and started his first office job, and already by the second week, a number of women had ganged up on him and accused him of sexual harassment while alone with him in the elevator. And the most absurd thing to George was that he had no idea who these women even were. He had never even seen them before. So I had to ask George, is it true? You've never looked at these girls or made any indecent comments while you've been alone with them in the elevator? And he told me it was true. He had done none of that. It was a clear case of sexual harassment. I asked George, how would you feel if you were a woman and all you thought about was how the opposite sex perceived your cleavage? Even when it was cold outside, you'd be baring half your chest and still no one noticed. George started to get my point. The way it works is that a woman's opinion of you as a man has nothing to do with who you are or what your personal qualities are. It has only to do with what she thinks your opinion of her is, or more precisely, what she thinks your opinion of her cleavage is. So I told George that if you step into an elevator and you are alone with a woman, it is imperative that your gaze first dips down to catch a quick glimpse of her cleavage. And then your line of sight moves up to making eye contact and you say, "Looking good. Is that a new jacket?" Or, "Have you been getting some sun?" It doesn't really matter what you say. However, it is important that you don't say, "Looking good," while you are still looking at her breasts. George learned that the hard way too. That concludes today's lesson on how to avoid accusations of sexual harassment. Join me next week as I will continue on this theme to teach you how women sometimes act as if they're not as intelligent as men so they can maximize their financial gain from us. Thank you. I am Mitch Vandell. Join me next week for Poor Sucker Syndrome Counseling Sessions.